following video contains scenes of violence. Viewer discretion is advised. Where can we go? Can we do any more? Is there a place that we can call safe? The air is filled with hot lead galore from mass shooter smoking barrels that penetrate and strafe. Our lives have been turned into run, hide, and fight, overtaken by gun violence, our country's biggest plight. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome once again to my channel, Stopfnkillin. I'm your host, the MOD, also known as the Method of Delivery. Before we get into today's topic, please like, share, and subscribe if you find anything that resonates with you. So today's topic is mass shooting madness. Again, mass shooting madness. I'm sure many of you are well aware that we have had multiple mass shootings all over my home country of the United States of America. And before we actually get into a little bit about this topic, we first have to define what a mass shooting is. So according to the FBI, mass shooting is an event where one or more people are either unaliving or attempting to unalive multiple people in a populated area. Now, one of the things about the United States, according to Gun Violence Archive, is that we have had so far this year 230 mass shooting events. And as of last year, we had 503 mass shooting events. These mass shooting events, they're everywhere. They're all over the place. There are churches, there's schools, workplaces, supermarkets. It doesn't matter. I mean, parks, wherever people are, there have been mass shootings. Nowhere is safe. And you would think that, well, if there were more guns, if more people were, able to protect themselves and there was more law enforcement around and things of that nature, that a country would be safer. The United States is the #1 country in the world for civilian gun ownership. According to the World Population Review and many other internet websites, it just really depends on where you go. The United States has 120.5 guns per 100 U.S. residents. So, what does that mean? That means that there are so many guns in this country that after you give out 100 guns to 100 people, random people, you'll have 20.5 more guns to give to another country, or to give some of those 100 people 2 guns or 3 guns. And the thing is, even though the United States is #1 regardless of what website you look at for gun ownership, there are other countries in this world that have high gun ownership, yet they don't have all these mass shootings. The Falkland Islands is right at about 62 guns per 100 people. Yemen is at 52.8 guns per 100 people. New Caledonia is 42.5 guns per 100 people. And Serbia is at right around 40 guns per 100 people. So gun ownership is not something that is unique to the United States. But who's to blame for all this nonsense? Who's to blame for these multiple mass shootings? Is it violent music, violent rap music, or violent rock music? Is it a person's upbringing? Is it, the gun culture? Is it the environment that they came up in? Is it mental health issues? All of these things exist in all of these other countries, yet they don't have all of the mass shootings like the United States has. I'm not saying that these other countries don't have crime and that these other countries are perfect or that they don't have poverty or slums or any of that stuff. But what is it about our culture here? What is it about the United States that causes us to have these mass shootings on a seemingly daily basis? And then it's so bad now that you have, the Department of Homeland Security putting out training videos, like run, hide, and fight, which I will leave a link to that in the description of this video so that, if you want to, you can share it with your family and friends. Just food for thought, something to think about. Now, there are different components of run, hide, and fight. And the first component of it, running, when you're talking about mass shooters, is first off, you have to be able to run, which means you got to be in some kind of shape. You can't just sit up and eat coffee, donuts, and cookies and cakes and all this other sweetening just stuff and be completely out of shape. How are you going to run? How are you going to get to where you need to get, with regard to a mass shooting event? Hide. Okay, you may need to hide from a mass shooter until you can get to a better place where you can run or even fight. What if you do get in a position where you have to fight this person, because you're going to be fighting for your life? You're going to be fighting for your life. But if you're out of shape, and obesity is an epidemic in this country as well, then you might not be able to fight as much. You might not be able to even get to a high place, and you definitely won't be able to run. When we're talking about the fight aspect, in Michigan, some citizens fought back.
Michigan church, police say church staffers helped prevent a large-scale mass shooting. Frightening moments at this church service near Detroit after a gunman opened fire outside the church. Police investigating this Facebook live stream. Inside the Crosspoint Community Church, people seen scrambling to exit. He began firing as he approached the church. That's when one parishioner and multiple church staffers confronted him.
A parishioner struck the gunman with his vehicle as the gunman shot the vehicle repeatedly. At least 2 staff members shot the gunman, causing fatal wounds.
You had a mass shooting averted at a church there in Michigan, in the state of Michigan, where a man, he hit the mass shooter with his truck. He used his mind. He used quick thinking, reactive thinking to help, give church security time to react with lethal force to stopping a mass shooter, thereby saving lives. So he fought back. But these mass shootings, they're everywhere. Just over the last few weeks, there have been mass shootings in Tennessee, and multiple ones in Illinois, Pennsylvania, Texas. They're all over the place. Your kids can't go to school. You can't go to church. My daughter, she works in her retail job. The day that she was off from work, an employee came up to the business and shot 2 people. He shot 2 other employees because he was mad. Now, that's not, considered a mass shooting event per se, but it happened. It hits close to home. It hits us all. What are some things that we can do about this? Well, first, we have to be eternally aware of our surroundings. You're going to have to lay off the social media, put your phone down sometime. Listen to your environment. Listen to what's going on around you. Guns are loud. They're miniature explosions inside of a contained, environment. You're gonna hear people screaming and, people running and all kinds of commotion. Listen, be aware, pay attention, not paranoid, but just eternally vigilant. Get in some type of shape. That's the second thing you can do. Get in some type of shape so that you can run, hide, and fight. Take some type of training. Just maintain a overall fitness level, because it's good to be healthy. Report suspicious activity. We all, run into people who say certain things or post things on social media or do certain things, or so-and-so over there, he or she isn't, they're not quite right in the head. And a lot of this stuff comes out after these people go on these mass shootings and kill a lot of people and injure a lot of people and change people's lives forever. And then you'll have neighbors, friends, family, acquaintances, co-workers like, oh yeah, I do remember so-and-so saying, that they were going to do this or that, there are almost always signs there before these things happen. So report suspicious activity to the authorities. Don't look at being a snitch, as snitches get stitches. Look at, as someone who is potentially saving lives, maybe even your own. The next thing you can do is look out for your fellow man, woman, and child. If you see somebody that needs help mentally, especially, try to get them help if available. And that may be, getting them, to call the mental health line, or, if it's your child, maybe you need to take them to a doctor, or your spouse or your loved one. You may need to take them to the doctor. You may need to call for crisis intervention. But try to get them help, if you possibly can, And finally, train if you're going to carry a weapon. Whatever that weapon is, train. Train with it. If you're going to carry a firearm, train with it. If you're going to carry mace, or, some kind of pepper spray, or a knife, or whatever it is, a baton, whatever type of, personal defense weapons you're going to carry, train with it. I know there are a lot of jobs out there and a lot of places where you're not supposed to carry a firearm or any kind of weapon. And I'm going to be honest with you, there have been many places where I've violated these laws and these policies, because you cannot depend on law enforcement to save you. You really can't depend on your fellow man, although, there have been instances of people who have stepped up. You have to save you before you can save anybody else. You have to protect yourself. Ultimately, your protection and the protection of your family is your responsibility. My condolences go out to those victims of the flooding in the southern United States. Also to all of these victims of these multiple mass shootings that we have had, just here in the last few weeks and even in this past year. And my heart also goes out to, those victims over in the wars in the Middle East and, wars in Ukraine. And I just want to say that when we've had enough collectively as a global community, we can put an end to this madness, to these wars, to these shootings, and to a lot of the things that are just gratuitous violence that are happening to people unnecessarily. Because remember, there is no you in this fight. There is no me in this fight. There is only we. And we must stop the effing killing, especially when it comes to mass shootings. Thank you. Have a safe day.